Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and for the last week I've been driving the 2025 Lexus RX500h F Sport. Up front is a 2.4 liter turbocharged inline 4 as well as a hybrid system, and down below is a 6-speed automatic transmission. Now I am super excited to be making this video here today because I've spent the last week driving the RX500 F Sport. I think it's interesting, it's been fun to drive, and I love this color combo, so I'm excited to share all of that with you here today. But if you'd like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. But let's get back to that 2.4 liter turbo and hybrid system under the hood. Well, this is a non-plug-in hybrid. It is a standard hybrid. You don't have to do anything. It does all of the hybrid work, and it is paired to the 2.4 liter turbo that we're seeing in the new Tacoma, Land Cruiser, things like that, which has actually been a lot of fun. This is the most powerful RX that you can get, and you definitely notice that while driving. It is very, very fun to drive. All right, we're gonna do a quick little 0 to 60 here. We're out in the middle of nowhere. We are in sport mode. You'll notice the gauge cluster has changed, but I want you to listen to the sound. I know it's piped in, but it does sound pretty cool. 3, 2, 1, go. Very nice. Sounds pretty cool. Like, honestly, like for an SUV like this, it doesn't need to sound like that, and yet it does. So pretty neat. It's quick. It's quicker than it really needs to be, and it offers that really nice punch. Now, are you going to be beating McLarens or Civics with laptops on the boulevard? Not quite, but it is an entertaining drive, and it's not this dud. Toyota and Lexus products often are very reliable, but not very interesting to drive. This, with the F Sport package, is actually somewhat interesting to drive. Maybe not the most interesting in the world, but definitely better than its other siblings. Like I said, paired to it is a 6-speed automatic. No CVT, no eCVT, and interestingly, no 8-speed. I have not had a single complaint about the transmission. It works well, and I think this is going to be fairly reliable, so I'm happy to see it here in the RX500. Last but not least about the drivetrain, this particular RX500 is all-wheel drive. However, you can find them in front wheel throughout the entire RX lineup. How does it feel to drive the RX500? Well, like I said, it is a pretty enjoyable drive, which I have had fun with. But visibility is decent, ride quality is good, it's Lexus and all those other parts. It's just a little bit quicker, which is always a welcome treat. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have a completely digital gauge cluster. This is mimicked with other Toyota products as well, and I've always found it to be a little bit busy. They did change the tachometer or energy flowometer, whatever you want to call it. It is a little bit more minimalist, which I happen to like. On the steering wheel on the left, we do have our volume, pages, and selectors, and off to the right, we have more selectors and adaptive cruise. I really do not like these selectors just because you have to look at the screen in order to know what's going on. However, Lexus has moved it to the screen and not the head-up display, so I can actually see it with my sunglasses on, which is very, very nice. And moving off to the left, we have a climate control vent, our trip odometer and gauge dimmer switch, memory seat options, gas cap release, and tailgate release. Moving on to the door, we have our Mark Levinson sound system, power mirrors, power locks, and power windows, and this really nice red leather that we'll talk a lot about later. Moving into the center, we get our giant infotainment display. This is Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, both wireless. All your climate controls are ran through here. Honestly, the more I drive these, the less I care, just because they have worked well. They don't seem to be laggy. On a hot day like today, I got in the car, it wasn't laggy at all. I was able to turn the AC down immediately, so that's what I really worry about. This is a very overbearing screen. If you're not a fan of screens in cars, you're going to be disappointed by this because there's a lot of it. A lot of real estate for this screen. And we do have a 360 camera as well as a backup camera. Then we do have physical buttons for the front defroster as well as our volume knob and rear defrost with mirror defrost. We have little buttons for parking assist and camera view button, hazard switch with climate control vents in the center, USB-C to the bottom right, and we do get a wireless charger down below with another USB-C and USB-A. Moving up the center console, we have the shifter off to the left. Pretty simple operation here. They've been using it for a couple of years now, and I'm pretty used to it. And then we have our auto holding brake, traction control on and off, our terrain mode, and our power parking brake. And then off to the right, we have cup holders that fail the big friggin' bottle test. However, there is a slot in the door that will accommodate the big friggin' bottle. So overall, the RX500 does shockingly get a pass for the big friggin' bottle test. Then we do get a center console with nothing in it, no plugs, no wires, no lights, no nothing. And then we have the seats. The seats are heated, ventilated, power, and memory, and they are red. And I think that they are absolutely lovely. They've been very comfortable on the road trips I've taken this vehicle on. I adore these seats. As in terms of a plain Jane luxury SUV seat, nothing too crazy, but nothing bottom of the barrel. These seats score very, very well and are exactly what I would want in a vehicle like this. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2025 Lexus RX500F Sport, and a couple of things to note. First of all, knee room great, headroom great. I'm not hitting the ceiling. My knees aren't hitting the seats in front of me. Very nice to see. They are still red back here. Love to see that. We do get a fold-out center console with pop-open cup holders that I'm sure fail the big friggin' bottle test. We have lights over my shoulder, but down here we have climate vents, heated and ventilated seats for the second row. So I can sit back here as the third or fourth person in the vehicle and I get ventilated seats. It's not often found in cars. Very, very nice to see here, as well as we do have our own climate control adjustment. Lovely, lovely back here. This feels very, very luxury. I fit well. I'm 5'11", not a small guy, and I fit back here, which is very nice to see. Let's hop into the very back. We'll take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, around the back of the Lexus RX500h, button under the Lexus badge for the power-operated tailgate. And the first thing you notice right off the bat is this giant F-Sport floor mat. Absolutely love to see that. We can peel it up. We do get some storage and spare tire down below. Wall outlet over here, absolutely adore that. Speaker system, and we do have power reclining for the second row, which I forgot to mention because, close up this, that's it, that's the cargo space. If you come down here, you actually do get reclining options for the second row. So I forgot to mention that, but there you go. That's around the back of the RX500h. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I'm fine with the look of this generation. I think it does look new. It looks modern, which is very nice. And the silver color normally would not be my favorite color, just because these come in a lot of other great colors like Grecian Water or Copper Crest. I think those two colors are very, very attractive and look phenomenal. However, this silver exterior with the red interior might be one of my favorite color combinations on a vehicle like this. It's subtle for everyone around you, but then you get that nice pop of color on the inside. I think the silver blends with the red really, really well to have this sort of lipstick and steel kind of vibe to it, which I was definitely drawn to. I don't overly love the black wheels, but they're here, they're on the car. There you go. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving the RX500 for the last week? Well, the reason I kind of breeze through this video is that I've driven so many of these RXs before. I've done the 350, the 450 Plus, now the 500. They all are pretty similar. They have the same tech. They have the same driving feel for the most part, albeit this one's quicker, but for the most part, they're driving the same. And so I just feel like I'm repeating myself. I will say the RX naming system, I guess across Lexus's naming system, is kind of confusing just because the RX 450 Plus that we reviewed earlier this year is more expensive than the 500 because the 450 has the plug-in hybrid, so that adds cost, but the number is smaller. It's very confusing. You can spec these out to be more expensive than one another in different ways, which was slightly confusing. But if you want performance out of the RX, this is the one to go with. It has been very good. It has been very fun to drive. Again, for this segment, would I choose this over a Miata for my next track day? No. But for cruising around town, going to the store, oh, you know, there's one twisty road between your work and home. Yeah, you could hit it in this, and it might be a little bit more entertaining than if you bought a 350 or 450 Plus, whatever it might be. Lexus is still building pretty solid SUVs. I don't love the touch buttons on the steering wheel, and I don't love the giant climate controls, but other than that, I think this is still a slam dunk. If you're looking for a plain Jane basic luxury vehicle to get around town for the next decade and a half, the RX is still here for you, and that's what this vehicle delivers. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Lexus for loaning me this RX500 for the last week. Huge thank you to Drive Shop for facilitating the cleaning and delivery of this vehicle, and of course, the Midwest Automotive Media Association. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.